What if the next 90 days didn't just change your routine, but change your reflection? Not someday, not when life settles down, but starting tonight, right where you are, with the quiet doubts no one sees. If that sounds dramatic, good. Transformation should feel a little dramatic because the first step isn't a new planner or a perfect morning routine. It's one moment of radical honesty. Here's the truth. Most self-help skips. You don't need a new year, a new job, or a new relationship to begin again. You need a decision you can't unmake. A decision to stop performing a life you've outgrown and start building the one you meant to live. That's the Stoic spirit in plain English. Quiet, grounded, unshakable. Not the noise of motivation, but the clarity of direction. A personal turn. A few years ago, I had the classic checklist, busy calendar, and I lived in the gap between what I posted and what I practiced. The shift didn't start with a perfect system. It started with a single, uncomfortable question. Where am I lying to myself? The answers were simple and brutal, too much scrolling disguised as research, commitments that kept me liked but not aligned, and goals I talked about more than I touched. That was day zero, not a restart and audit. The Stoic frame. Stoicism isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about steering your life. Think of it as three words: stillness, discipline, identity. Stillness to hear yourself think. Discipline to act on what you hear. Identity to stay the course when the world pulls you sideways. In 90 days, those three ideas can make you unrecognizable, not because you added more, but because you removed what was blurring the person you already are. The 90-day thesis. If this were a college paper, the thesis is simple. Radical honesty plus micro habits equals lasting identity change. But this isn't a paper, it's your life. So here's a practical, human version that respects your time, your energy, and your reality. Checklist. Phase 1. Radical honesty. Days 1-7. No fancy tools. Just a pen, a note app, and the courage to write down the truth. 3 columns. No excuses. What's working? What's not? What must change now? Keep the language blunt and behavioral. Screen off by 10 p.m. Beats. Sleep better. Identify your leak points. Where does your energy sink? People, places, patterns. If it drains you weekly, it defines you yearly. One-line oath. For 90 days, I will trade comfort for clarity, distraction for discipline, noise for meaning. Put it where your thumb lands, first thing in the morning. Reflective question. If a camera followed you for 24 hours, what would it say you value? Not what you claim, but what you schedule. Checklist. Phase 2. Micro habits. Days 8-30. Micro habits aren't cute, they're atomic. They make your identity obvious. 20-minute anchor. Walk without headphones. Presence, not cardio. Let your nervous system exhale. Water, protein, fiber. Not a diet, dignity. Fuel that helps you think clearly. Screen sunset. Pick a time when the internet stops being your babysitter. 5-sentence journal. What I did, what I felt, what I learned, what I will change, what I'm grateful for. One promise kept daily. Something so small you can't fail. Consistency is confidence's older sibling. Reflective question. If you only kept one promise to yourself each day, which promise, kept for 90 days, would make you undeniable? Story beat the quiet win. Around week 3, no one will clap. Your body's just starting to adapt. Your brain is negotiating for the old dopamine. This is the valley most people quit in. Here's the reframe. The absence of applause is not the absence of progress. Silence is the sound of foundations being poured. Checklist phase 3. Environment upgrade, days 31-45. Your space teaches your brain what to believe about you. 1 hour purge rule. 1 drawer, 1 shelf, 1 inbox folder. Decide or discard. Clutter is a stack of delayed decisions. Future self cue. Put your shoes by the door, a water bottle on your desk, a book by your nightstand. Default friction down, default good up. Wardrobe signal. Simple, clean, repeatable. Dress like someone who respects their time. You're not peacocking, you're aligning. Reflective question. What does your environment say you'll do today without you saying a word? Checklist phase 4. Calendar as character days 4660. Time is identity you can count. Non-negotiables. Blocked first. Movement, learning, deep work. If it's not on the calendar, it's on the wish list. 30-minute rule. 1 focused block daily beats 3 scattered hours. The sacred hour. Claim the first waking hour for you. Move, read, plan. Don't let the world set your mood before you do. Yes, divided by no filter. If it's not aligned with your 90-day aim, it's a default no. Not forever, just for now. Reflective question. If I looked at your week, could I guess your top 3 values? Checklist phase. 5. People and boundaries. Days. 6175. Your circle is a thermostat, not a thermometer. Energy audit. Who leaves you sharper? Who leaves you smaller? Adjust quietly. Explain less. Protect more. Boundaries don't need speeches, just consistency. Accountability buddy. One person who shares receipts, not excuses. Progress loves witnesses. Reflective question. Who would you become if you stopped negotiating your standards to keep the peace? Checklist phase 6. Proof and momentum. Days 7690. 90 E. Identity sticks when you collect evidence. Stack your receipts. Journal entries, step counts, pages read, sessions done. Not for social, for memory. Public micro acts. Post the book you finished, schedule the workout, share one lesson you learned. Not to impress, to imprint. The 90-day review. Same 3 columns you started with. What worked? What didn't? What changes now? Reflective question. What proof will future you need on a hard day to remember how far you've come? Why this works? Radical honesty cuts the noise. Micro habits build dignity. Environment removes friction. A structured calendar makes priorities visible. Boundaries guard the path. Proof seals identity. It's not magic. It's math done daily. Small wins, compounded. And under it all, the Stoic core stillness, discipline, identity, turns success from a mood into a method, a calm rebuttal to your inner skeptic. But 90 days isn't enough. Enough for what? To become perfect? No. To become obvious to yourself? Absolutely. 90 days won't finish you, it will define you. You'll know who you are in motion, not just in theory. And that knowledge is momentum you can't buy. Closing hook segue. So here's your starting line. Tonight, write the 3 columns. Pick 1 micro habit. Claim tomorrow's first hour. That's it. No grand declarations. No aesthetic planners. Just 1 honest step that you repeat until it feels like home. In the next segment, we'll turn this into a simple weekly map you can follow without burning out. So the next 90 days don't just change your schedule, they change your story. What if the most powerful, motivational speech you'll hear this year is the one you give yourself alone? With no music and no applause, just radical honesty. Scene set divided by narration. Let's start where change actually begins. Not with hype, but with a hard look. Most people wait for inspiration, like they're waiting for lightning. Stoicism gives us a different path. Face the truth first, then build. Tonight, I'm asking you to stop rehearsing the life you've outgrown and look directly at the parts you've been avoiding, the quiet patterns that shape your days when no one's watching. You already know the signals. Your energy sinks around certain people, but you explain it away. You talk about your goals more than you act on them, but you call it planning. Sunday evening arrives and there's that hollow weight in your chest. You smother it with Netflix, scrolling, or busy work, anything to drown out the discomfort. These aren't random moods. They're dashboards with red lights flashing. When you ignore them, they don't disappear. They accumulate. And eventually, they define you. Stoic frame. The Stoic posture isn't defensiveness. It's devotion to what's real. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. I seek the truth." That isn't weakness. That's strength under discipline. The goal isn't to feel attacked by the truth, it's to be refined by it. Because change built on denial collapses the moment life pushes back. A personal turn. Relatable story. A few years ago, I had a tidy story about myself. Busy, productive, fine. But I kept bumping into the same Sunday night dread. So I tried something uncomfortable. I sat down with a blank page and asked, where am I lying to myself? The answers were not poetic. They were simple and brutal. Too much screen time disguised as research. A calendar packed with low-impact tasks because they made me feel useful. Conversations that left me smaller, not stronger. That night didn't fix my life. It did something more important. It ended the performance. I chose honesty over image. That was the hinge. The audit. 3 columns that change everything. You don't need a new app. You need a new agreement with yourself. Take one sheet of paper or open a notes file and draw 3 columns. What's working concrete behaviors that reliably move you forward? What's not patterns that drain you or stall progress, even if they look productive? What must change now? 1 to 3 actions you will implement immediately, not someday. Keep the language behavioral and visible. Screen off by 10 p.m. beats sleep better. Lift 3 days divided by week at lunch beats get fit. Your brain respects instructions it can measure. Examples make it concrete. What's working? Morning walk before phone. Protein at breakfast. Weekly call with the one friend who challenges me. What's not? Checking email that turns into 45 minutes of avoidance. Meetings with no agenda. Late night scrolling that steals tomorrow's willpower. Must change now. Phone in the kitchen at 10 p.m. Max 2 meetings divided by day unless revenue related. Write the top 3 outcomes for tomorrow before 8 p.m. It's amazing how fast fog lifts when you stop negotiating with your own avoidance. Jung warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The audit is how you drag habits out of the shadows and into the light where they can be chosen or cut. Why motivation fails and honesty doesn't. Motivation is a mood. Honesty is a method. Hype spikes your feelings. Honesty rewires your behavior. When you face the exact situations that drain you, the colleague who derails your day, the 9 p.m. snack that becomes midnight scrolling, the quick check that eats 40 minutes, you reclaim agency. You stop being surprised by the same traps. You start designing around them. Rapid-fire checks, self-inquiry that bites, energy check. Who consistently leaves you clearer and stronger? Who leaves you tangled and smaller? Behavior versus identity. If a camera followed you today, what would it say? You value what you post or what you actually schedule? Sunday dread audit. What exact decisions are you avoiding that make Sunday feel heavy? Name them. Decisions named are decisions half made. Defenseless truth. The Stoic edge. Defensiveness is an attempt to protect an outdated self. The person you're becoming doesn't need protection. They need clarity. Practice saying this out loud. I prefer the truth to my preferences. When you catch yourself building a clever explanation for a weak pattern, stop mid-sentence and write down the behavior instead. Explanations are soft. Evidence is solid. The reframe. Evolution, not failure. Old habits aren't indictments, they're artifacts. That friendship that now drains you, not a villain, just an old mirror reflecting a version of you that no longer fits. That goal you used to love but now avoid? Not confusion, clarity, trying to get your attention. Treat your past self with respect. They got you here. Treat your present self with integrity. You'll decide who leaves with you. Checklist: practical, modern, doable. Set a 48-hour window to complete your first audit. Waiting for the right time is the first lie. Use a 10-minute timer per column. Fast answers are often the truest. Attach one visible cue to each must change now item. For example, notebook on pillow so you journal before bed. Gym bag by the door. Create a red flag. List 3 situations that commonly trigger avoidance. Pre-decide your response. Share one line with a trusted person. For 30 days, I'm choosing truth over comfort. Accountability, not confession. Mini case, make it human. Let's say your energy collapses after lunch and you doom scroll to reset. In the audit, that goes under what's not. Your must change now might be 12:45, 1:05 p.m. Walk, no headphones. 1:05, 1:10 p.m. Water plus protein snack. 1:10 to 10 p.m. Deep work block with phone in another room. Notice, we didn't ask you to have more willpower. We changed the script. Truth first, then structure. Emotional resistance, name it. Neutralize it. You will feel a sting when you write certain items. That sting isn't punishment, it's data. It means you touch something real. Sit with it for 60 seconds. Breathe. Write one sentence that starts with, "The truth is," and finish it without editing. That single sentence can move more weight than a week of vague affirmations. The Stoic promise. When you place truth at the center, everything else becomes easier to sort. You will feel quieter, not louder. Stronger, not harsher. Clearer, not colder. That's the point. The noise drops. Your identity rises. Closing divided by segue. So tonight, give yourself 10 minutes and 3 columns. No drama, no perfect system, just names and decisions. Tomorrow, we'll turn those decisions into micro habits that are too small to fail and too consistent to ignore. Because once you stop performing for motivation and start practicing the truth, the next 90 days don't just change your schedule, they change your story. What if the fastest way to clear your mind wasn't another mindset hack, but cleaning one drawer? Not glamorous, not viral, just one honest hour that tells your brain, we're moving forward now. Narration. The Stoic premise. Your environment is not neutral. It's a live transcript of your inner life, what you've decided, what you're avoiding, and who you believe you are. When the room is loud, your thoughts whisper. When the room is clear, your thoughts speak up. The Stoics understood this long before productivity apps existed. As Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Clutter is imagination made physical. The pile that says one day, the inbox that says later, the closet that says maybe. None of it is evil, but all of it is undecided. And undecided becomes heavy. Story. A quiet, personal shift. A few years back, my desk looked like a highlight reel of good intentions. 3 notebooks, 2 planners, and a stack of must-read books I never cracked. I kept telling myself I worked best in creative chaos. But Sunday nights felt heavier and heavier. One afternoon, I set a timer for 60 minutes and gave myself a rule. Decide or discard. No music, no podcast, just decisions. I filled a donation bag, recycled old notes, and created a single in-motion tray for the 3 things that truly mattered that week. When the timer went off, nothing dramatic had happened, and yet everything felt different, quieter, cleaner, possible. That wasn't minimalism for aesthetics. That was an identity update. The older version of me was no longer in charge. Why space-shaped self? Mess is not just objects. It's postponed choices. The sweater you never wear, The book you keep to feel smart, the tabs you leave open for later, the junk drawer that swallows small promises, each sends your nervous system a message. We're not ready to move. Over time, you normalize that message until it becomes identity. I'm the kind of person who lives behind. The opposite is also true. When your space reflects where you're going, not where you've been, you start acting like the person you've decided to become. That's not vanity. That's alignment. The question that cuts through: before you touch a single item, ask the only question that matters. Does this move me forward or tie me to who I used to be? Not, is it nice? Not, was it expensive? Not, what if I need it someday? Forward or tethered? If it's forward, it stays with intention. If it's tethered, it leaves with gratitude. Checklist. 1 hour. One area doable. Modern. Stoic. Set a timer for 60 minutes. Pick a tiny zone. Work in silence. Decide or discard. The drawer protocol. Empty one drawer completely. Wipe it. Only put back what you use weekly. Everything else, trash, donate, or a single memory box you'll review in 30 days. Closet cue. Turn all hangers backward. As you wear items, flip the hanger. After 30 days, donate what never flipped. You're not punishing the past, you're releasing it. Digital detox. Light. Close all tabs. Reopen only the 3 required for today's outcomes. Archive email down to 0, using snooze or folders labeled action divided by waiting divided by archive. Your brain is not an inbox. Kitchen reset. 1 shelf. Swap comfort by default for fuel by design. Water bottle visible, protein and fiber front row, snacks out of line of sight. Workspace triage. Create 3 trays or folders. Now, 3 items max. This week, parking lot. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't belong today. The exit routine. 5-minute tidy at day's end. Clear the surface. Lay out tomorrow's first tools. Shoes. Book. Notebook. Make momentum the first thing you see. Donation rule of 2. For every new item you bring in this month, 2 leave. Space is a budget. Spend it on who you're becoming. Micro examples. Make it real. The stack of unread books isn't wisdom, it's guilt wrapped in dust. Keep one, schedule 20 pages nightly, donate the rest. The maybe jeans are a future you costume. Dress for the work, not the wish. The 27 open tabs are anxiety theater. If it's truly important, it earns a slot on today's now list or your this week tray. Mindset. This is release. Decluttering is not self-denial. It's self-respect. You're sending your subconscious a clear signal. The old operator is off duty. A clearer one just clocked in. Thank the object for the role it played: comfort, status, distraction, and let it go. Gratitude closes loops. Guilt keeps them open. Seneca. Again, but practical. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Read that line standing in front of the clutter you keep, just in case. Most of your what-ifs are imaginary losses that cost you real clarity. Reality is kinder. You can borrow a tool, repurchase a $10 item, or find a digital copy. What you can't borrow is attention. Protect that like it's sacred, because it is. Energy before aesthetics. Instagram loves color-coded pantries and perfect shelves. Stoicism doesn't care if it's pretty, it cares if it's functional. Aim for fewer decisions, less friction, more presence. A clear counter beats a curated one. A simple uniform beats a chaotic wardrobe. A desktop with 3 icons beats a wallpaper of goals you never open. Rapid self-checks. When I walk into this room, what action does it invite? Which object here belongs to the person I no longer am? If my future self visited, what would they remove first to help me think clearly? The physiology of order. Why you feel calmer after. When you reduce visual noise, your brain's threat detection system quiets. Cortisol drops, focus rises. That calm you feel after clearing a surface isn't placebo. It's cognitive load coming down. Less numbing, more presence. More presence, better choices. Better choices compounding confidence. A 7-day environment. Sprint field tested. Day 1. 1 drawer. Decide or discard. Day 2. Desk surface. Now divided by this week, divided by parking lot trays. Day 3. 30-minute inbox sweep. Everything gets reply. Is less than or equal to 2 minutes. Schedule. Archive. Day 4. Closet hangers reset. Pick a simple uniform for weekdays. Day 5. Kitchen shelf plus water station front and center. Day 6. Nightstand. Only sleep, book, lamp. Phone charges outside the room. Day 7. Donation drop-off plus a 5-minute exit routine you'll repeat nightly. In the feedback loop you want. Clear space, clearer mind, clearer choices, fewer regrets, less soothing, more momentum. That's the loop. You won't get applause for any of this. Good. Silence is the sound of foundations being poured. Closing thought and a promise to yourself. Say this quietly, like a contract. I do not need more to become more. I need less of what numbs me and more of what aligns me. Then prove it with 1 hour. Let your room tell a new story before your mouth does. Segue, next part. Now that your space supports who you're becoming, we'll move to the next lever you can feel by tomorrow morning. Your body is a tool for momentum, simple, stoic actions that rebuild trust with yourself when motivation is nowhere to be found. What if the fastest way to change your life wasn't a new plan, a new app, or a new coach, just a body that keeps the promises your mind makes? Open. The point most people miss. We think transformation starts when we look different. It doesn't. It starts when we have proof that our word means something, especially to ourselves. Your body is that proof. Not because abs equal virtue, but because physical actions are visible, countable, undeniable. When you do the thing you said you would do, walk for 20 minutes, drink the water, go to bed on time, you're not chasing a look. You're building evidence. Evidence beats motivation. Evidence becomes identity. A personal turn. Relatable story. A few years ago, I kept promising, tomorrow I'll start. I had perfect fitness playlists and zero consistency. One night I wrote a sentence in my notes. I want to be someone who shows up when nobody's watching. The next morning I walked 20 minutes, no headphones. It was awkward. I kept waiting for a spark that never came. But the second day I walked again. By the end of the week, I didn't look any different. I felt different. Not because the walks were epic, but because I had a receipt. I said I would, and I did. That tiny proof changed how I saw myself at 2 p.m. when I wanted to quit, and at 10 p.m. when my phone begged me to scroll. My body became a contract, not a project, the Stoic frame. Epictetus put it plainly. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Decide, then act. Not someday now, in small, repeatable steps. Stoicism isn't about punishing the body. It's about using the body to train the mind, to practice self-command in the easiest place to see it. Daily movement, hydration, sleep. Why small starts matter. The neurology in plain English. Big efforts feel heroic for 3 days. Then life hits, motivation dips, and the plan collapses. Small, steady actions do something sneakier. They lower the friction to start. Every time you start, your brain records, we are the kind of person who begins. That's dignity. And dignity scales. The 2 chains. Choose your loop. Neglect chain. Skip movement. Energy drops. Irritability rises. Self-doubt grows. You numb out. Tomorrow is harder. Care chain. Move. A little energy rises. Decision-making clears. Self-respect grows. You keep a promise. Tomorrow is easier. Both chains compound. One leads to fog, the other to traction. Choose the second on purpose. The 22-1 frames start today. Not perfectly. You don't need a gym membership to begin. You need a script that fits real life. 20 minutes of movement, walk, light jog, body weight circuit. Presence over performance. No headphones. For the first 10 minutes, hear your thoughts again. 2 liters of water, or roughly half a gallon. Keep a bottle in sight. Every sip is a vote for clarity. 1 honest bedtime. Pick a time. Protect it. Sleep isn't a reward, it's infrastructure. That's it. If you're already training, this becomes your non-negotiable baseline, the floor you never fall below, even on messy days. Checklist. Practical, modern, doable. Name your identity in 1 line. I am someone who shows up daily for 20 minutes. Put it on your lock screen. Preload the cue. Shoes by the door, water on your desk. Alarm named. Move your body. Honor your word. Reduce decisions. Increase starts. 2-set rule. On low-energy days, do 2 sets of a microcircuit squats. Push-ups at the counter. Dead bugs. If motivation returns, do more. If not, you still kept the promise. Sunlight plus steps. Get outside early. Natural light plus walking calms your nervous system faster than any pep talk. Protein at breakfast. Not for a 6-pack for stable focus. A clear brain makes fewer dumb choices. Phone parking. During movement, phone lives across the room. Your body trains attention as much as muscle. Bedtime boundary. Choose a time. 30 minutes before, lights soften, screens off, notebook out. 3 lines. What I did, what I learned, what I'll do tomorrow. Close the loop. Sleep. Examples make it real. If you're drained after work, your plan is not have willpower. Your plan is shoes by the door, 10-minute walk, 2 sets, shower, protein snack. Then decide if you want more. If mornings are chaos, sleep 30 minutes earlier and protect a 15-minute sunrise walk. The point isn't mileage, it's momentum. Traveling, stairs over elevator, carry-on water bottle. Every hotel room equals 20 squats, 10 push-ups at the desk. Keep the chain unbroken. The psychology of reps. Why 1 more matters. Every rep is a vote for the person you want to be, not a referendum on your worth a vote. Some days you win by a landslide, some days by 1 ballot. The outcome is the same. Your identity inches forward. Say it under your breath when you want to stop. Handling setbacks, the Stoic way. You will miss days. You will have weeks where life eats your calendar. Good. That's training too. When you slip, don't negotiate with the story "I ruined it." Move for 5 minutes. Drink the water that's in front of you. Go to bed on time tonight. We're not collecting perfect days. We're collecting returns, the skill of coming back quickly. Mindset shifts that stick. From outcome to evidence. Stop asking, "Am I there yet?" Ask, "What proof did I collect today?" From intensity to consistency. A hard Tuesday doesn't beat 5 moderate days. From image to integrity. Don't post it, own it. Let your body, calendar, and sleep tell the story. In Crossed, a 14-day body sprint, field-tested map. Days 1-3. 20-minute walks, no headphones for the first 10. 2 liters of water, fixed bedtime. Days 4-6. Add 2-set body weight circuit after the walk. Journal 3 lines before sleep. Day 7. Reflection, walk no metrics. Just notice how your mind feels in a moving body. Days 8-10. Keep the base. Add a simple mobility flow, 5-7 minutes. Days 11-13. Swap 1 walk for light strength, dumbbells or bands. Keep the bedtime contract. Day 14. Review your evidence. Circle 3 moments you showed up with zero motivation. That's your new self-respect. Why this works. The quiet science, no jargon. Movement reduces stress chemistry. Water sharpens focus. Sleep consolidates learning and repairs discipline. Stack them, and you create a daily state where good choices are easier to make and easier to repeat. You stop white-knuckling your day. You start writing a rhythm, addressing the inner skeptic. 20 minutes. That can't change a life. You're right, once won't. 90 days will. Not because the walk is magical, but because the person who walks when they said they would becomes someone they trust. Trusted people make braver choices. Braver choices build better lives. The Stoic promise. Say this softly before you move. I don't need to be extreme. I need to be consistent. I don't need to look different to start. I need to keep one promise and repeat it. Then go cast your vote. Closing segue. Tonight, set your shoes out. Fill the bottle. Choose a bedtime. Tomorrow, collect your first proof. No fanfare. No scoreboard. Just a body that honors your word. In the next part, we'll take this momentum and pour it into your calendar so your time starts reflecting the person you're becoming, not the notifications you're reacting to. If you want to know who you really are, don't look in the mirror, look at your calendar. Your time tells the truth, your words can't. And starting today, we're going to make your schedule match your values so your days stop feeling reactive and start feeling intentional. Open. Time is identity. Time isn't just hours. It's identity in motion. Where your minutes go, your life goes. Most of us don't run our day, the day runs us. We wake up, check the phone before we check in with ourselves, spend the morning putting out small fires, and then wonder why the important work never happens. That's not a character flaw. It's a system problem. The fix isn't work harder. The fix is design. A simple living schedule that reflects who you are becoming. Marcus Aurelius said it best, don't waste time arguing what a good person should be one. The calendar is how you be one. Not a perfect color-coded museum, just a clear map you can actually live. The problem. Reactive living. Reactive days feel full but hollow. You're busy with low-impact tasks that look productive and leave you drained emails without outcomes, meetings without agendas, errands that multiply. The cost isn't just fatigue, it's identity drift. You become the person who responds, not the person who creates. The core principle. What gets scheduled gets lived. If it matters, it gets a box on the calendar. If it doesn't have a box, it's a wish. And here's the liberating part. You don't need endless blocks. 30 focused minutes of real work beats 3 chaotic hours of context switching. Depth over duration. Rhythm over rigidity. The sacred first hour. Claim the first waking hour for you before the world has a chance to set your mood. No inbox, no news. Use it to do the 3 things that stabilize a day. Silence. 5. 10 minutes of breathing, journaling, or prayer. Let your mind arrive. Movement. A short walk or mobility flow. Get blood moving before brain drama begins. Direction. Write the top 3 outcomes for the day results, not chores. When you own the first hour, you stop negotiating with your day. You meet it on your terms. A personal turn. The week that changed my output. I used to plan by stuffing tasks into margins and hoping for courage later. That hope kept failing. Then I tried something embarrassingly simple for 1 week. 3 named blocks on the calendar. Deep work, 90 minutes. Movement, 30 minutes. Learning, 20 minutes. And a hard stop on phone use during each. The result? Fewer tasks completed, more results shipped. I ended the week lighter, not because I did more, but because I finally did what mattered. That 1 week taught me, willpower is a weak manager. The calendar is a strong one. The 4 blocks? Your day, by design. Think of your schedule as 4 repeating anchors. The names matter less than the function. Stillness block S. mindset and attention, journaling, breath work, reflection. Movement block, M. Walk, lift, stretch energy before effort. Learning block, L. Read, take notes, practice a skill, sharpen the tool. Execution block, E. Deep, focused action, ship the thing. You can reorder them, but try to include all 4 daily. Small doses count. The point is rhythm. Checklist, building your living calendar. Name your values in verbs. Not health, but move. Not growth, but learn. Not work, but ship. Put verbs into boxes. S7710, M710, 730, L73750, E83010. If it's not boxed, it's not real. Guard the edges. Start on time, end on time. Ending on time is how you start the next block with integrity. 1 screen rule. During execution, only 1 screen, 1 tab, 1 task. Outcome language. Draft intro paragraph. Not work on chapter. Email John with 3 options. Not follow up. Buffer blocks. 2 15-minute buffers. Midday and late afternoon. Buffers absorb life's surprises so they don't eat your day. The daily shutdown. Last 10 minutes. 30 minutes that beat 3 hours. Examples. Creative. 30 minutes to outline the video's A-roll beats 3 hours chasing B-roll ideas. Career. 30 minutes to write a proposal beats 3 hours of Slack replies. Health. 30 minutes of brisk walking beats 3 hours of I should go later. Relationships. 30 minutes of present conversation beats a whole evening half there. Rapid self-inquiry. Ask out loud. If I audited last week's calendar, what would it say I value urgency or meaning? Which 30-minute block, if defended daily, would most change my next 90 days? What do I do in the first 10 minutes after waking? And does it create or consume? The science, plain English. Your brain loves clarity and hates open loops. When you pre-decide blocks, you lower decision fatigue and free up focus. When you start and finish on time, you build trust with yourself. Self-respect is a scheduling habit. And when you compress work into focused bursts, you get the neurochemical win that fuels the next block. Discipline doesn't kill spontaneity. It amplifies it by removing the junk that steals your bandwidth. A 7-day sovereignty sprint. Field tested. Day 1. Claim the first hour. Silence 10. Movement 15. Top 3-5. Execute 1 30-minute block on the most meaningful task. Day 2. Repeat. Day 1. Add 1. Learning 20 block read and take 5 notes you can use. Day 3. Add a midday buffer and 1. Execution 30 after lunch. Single task, 1 tab. Day 4. Put a no-phone gate around your first hour and both execution blocks. Phone parks in another room. Day 5. Protect an evening stillness. 10 journal. What worked divided by what didn't divided by? What changes tomorrow? Day 6. Remove 1 low-impact commitment from next week's calendar. Replace it with a second execution block. Day 7. Review your week. Which block gave the highest return? Put that block on your calendar for the next 4 weeks, same time, same days. When life interrupts, it will. Kids get sick, meetings move, traffic happens. A Stoic schedule bends, doesn't break. When a block gets bumped, reschedule it once, not endlessly. If you can't fit the full 30 minutes, do 10. Votes still count even when they're small. Addressing the inner skeptic. This is too rigid. I want freedom. When the essentials are protected, you can say yes to the unexpected without sacrificing yourself. The Stoic reminder. Marcus Aurelius again. Don't waste time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. For us, translated, Don't debate the ideal day. Live a structured one. Let your schedule carry your standards when your mood won't. Closing. A contract you can keep. Say this quietly, like you mean it. What I schedule, I live. Then open tomorrow's calendar and give your values a home. 1 hour for you. One execution block that ships something real. One learning block that sharpens you. One movement block that energizes you. That's it. Live that rhythm and watch your identity catch up. Segue next part. Now that your time reflects who you're becoming, let's make sure the world reads that signal too. In the next section, we'll upgrade how you show up, appearance, and presence, so your outer message aligns with your inner map, even before you say a word. What if the most powerful message you send today isn't something you say, but how you show up before a single word leaves your mouth? Open. The silent signal. Appearance is not vanity, it's alignment. It's a quiet broadcast to the world and to yourself about who you've decided to be. The point isn't perfection or trends, it's clarity. When your outer presence matches your inner standards, you move through the day with less friction and more force. Carl Jung called it the privilege of a lifetime to become who you truly are. Today we make that visible, not to impress, but to embody. A personal turn. When I stopped hiding in casual. For years, I told myself I didn't care about appearance. I was busy. I favored comfort. But the truth? I used casual as camouflage. On days I showed up, rumpled and unfocused, my standards followed. Meetings blurred, boundaries softened. I spoke softer than my convictions. One week, I ran a simple experiment. Neutral colors, clean lines, hair trimmed, shoes polished, shoulders back, eyes level. No shopping spree, just intentional choices. The change wasn't dramatic to anyone else, but inside everything shifted. I didn't become someone new. I stopped diluting who I already was. The Stoic premise. Preparation, not pretense. Stoicism doesn't ask you to perform, it asks you to prepare. Dress here doesn't mean designer, it means designed. It means your presence is set before the day tests you, so decisions are easier. No is cleaner, and your standards don't depend on your mood. Think of appearance as a user interface for your identity. Clear UI, fewer bugs. Why? It works. Plain English psychology. Your nervous system reacts to signals: posture, breath, gaze, order. When your posture opens, your breath deepens. Your eye contact steadies. Your brain reads safe, capable, ready. That calm becomes your baseline. People mirror it. Conversations sharpen. You negotiate from ground, not from need. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. Small external cues shape internal states, and internal states shape external outcomes. The 4 pillars of presence. Simple, neutral, repeatable. Clarity in clothing. Simple, neutral, fitted enough to feel intentional. Think uniform, not costume. A repeatable set removes daily decision fatigue. Dark pants, clean tee or Oxford. One jacket you trust, one pair of shoes you care for. Grooming as a contract. Clean trim, nails neat, subtle fragrance, or none. You're communicating respect for the room and for your future self. Posture and breath. Shoulders down and back, chin level, slow nasal breaths. Every exhale says, I'm not rushing, I'm here. Eye contact and pace. Meet eyes long enough to feel real, not performative. Speak 10% slower than your anxious brain wants. Pauses are punctuation. The checklist. Practical, modern, doable. Build a 5-outfit uniform. Choose 5 interchangeable looks that fit your climate and role. If it doesn't align, donate or store. Your closet should look like a toolkit, not a memory box. 2-minute mirror rule. Before leaving, check 3 things. Collar clean, shoulders open, pockets empty of visual clutter. If it takes longer than 2 minutes, your system is too complicated. Desk reset. Keep one pen you like, one notebook, one stable object, plant, photo, stone. Entrance protocol. Before any room meeting, call. Living room, breathe in for 4, out for 6. Adjust posture. Decide your one-sentence outcome for the next 30 minutes. Then enter. Boundary anchor. Wear a ring, bracelet, or watch as a tactile cue. When you feel yourself people-pleasing, touch it and say, silently, we keep the standard. Voice warm-up. Humming for 60 seconds and reading one paragraph aloud calms the voice. A steady tone carries farther than volume. Weekly grooming block. One recurring appointment. Hair, nails, jacket press, shoe care. Small rituals prevent big slumps. Micro examples. How small choices change the room. Email versus in-person. You walk in with shoulders open and a clear ask. The conversation is shorter, the outcome clearer. Negotiation. Neutral colors, steady breaths. Slower pace. You ask one question and wait. Silence does the heavy lifting. Family dinner. Phone away, eyes up, posture grounded. The room de-escalates. You didn't lecture, respect you modeled it. Common traps and the upgrade. Trap. Over-accessorizing to look the part. Upgrade. One quality piece. Max. Let simplicity carry authority. Trap. Hiding behind casual because I'm authentic. Upgrade. Authentic is not equal to unintentional. Wear choices that free attention, not steal it. Trap. 40 tabs open, 8 apps pinging. Upgrade. One screen, one tab, one task. Presence is a style choice too. Trap. Apologizing with your body shrunk shoulders. Half voice. Upgrade. Square stance, calm tone. Here's what I can do. Here's what I won't. Boundaries read before they're heard. The identity link. Every detail is a vote. Every small, repeatable detail is a ballot for who you're becoming. Shoe care is not vanity, it's stewardship. A pressed shirt is not ego, it's clarity. A steady gaze is not aggression, it's adulthood. When these details repeat, your body learns certainty. Certainty lets you speak plainly, set lines earlier, and leave when standards aren't met without drama. A 7-day presence sprint. Day 1, closet edit, 45 minutes. Keep only what you wear in the next 30 days. Build 5 go-to outfits. Day 2, grooming reset, 30 minutes. Hair, nails, shave, divided by shape, moisturizer. Put a small kit in your bag divided by car. Day 3, posture hour. Set a timer to check shoulders and breath every 15 minutes for 4 cycles. Practice a slower speaking pace on one call. Day 4, workspace clean, 30 minutes. Surface clear, cable tuck, 1 notebook rule. Choose 1 anchor object. Day 5, eye contact and pauses. In 2 conversations, hold eye contact 1 beat longer. Let silence land before replying. Day 6, entrance protocol reps. Before 3 entries, call divided by room. Do 4 to 6 breaths plus 1 sentence intention. Day 7, review and lock. Which 2 habits change your day most? Put them on a recurring calendar block. Addressing the skeptic. This feels superficial. Surface is where signals live. You're not becoming someone else. You're removing the static that kept others and you from seeing you clearly. Call it aesthetics if you want. I call it access. Access to the version of you that makes decisions cleanly and keeps promises calmly. Jung's reminder become, don't perform. Jung's line matters here because it protects you from cosplay. Becoming yourself is not copying someone's aesthetic. It's choosing the minimum set of external cues that let your real self lead. Preparation, not pretending. Alignment, not act. Rapid self-inquiry, ask out loud. If my future self opened my closet and desk, would they recognize the standards or the excuses? What single change, hair, wardrobe, posture, or workspace would produce the biggest clarity tomorrow? Where do I apologize with my body? And what will I do with my shoulders, gaze, or pace instead? Closing, a calm contract with yourself. Say this softly. I don't dress to impress. I dress to align. I don't posture to look strong. I stand so I can be steady. Then prove it with one simple choice tomorrow morning: neutral, clean, intentional. Shoulders open, eyes level, breath steady. Let your presence deliver your message before your mouth does. Segue, next part. Now that your outer signal matches your inner standard, it's time to face the hardest mirror, the people around you. In the next section, we'll build boundaries and relationships that reflect your new identity so you stop shrinking to fit old rooms and start inviting the right people into the life you're actually living. What if the hardest part of becoming your next self isn't building new habits, but letting go of the people who only recognize your old ones? Open. The quiet truth about growth. Real growth comes with casualties, not dramatic fallouts, but quiet separations. As you evolve, some people become mirrors of who you used to be, not partners in who you're becoming. They're not villains. They're simply aligned with an older chapter. The Stoics were blunt about this. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Translation: your circle is not just social, it's structural. It holds up your standards or it collapses them. A personal turn. When staying nice cost me myself, for a long time I stayed in rooms out of politeness. I laughed off the jokes about trying too hard. I softened my standards so I wouldn't make anyone uncomfortable. I told myself that loyalty was a virtue. Then I noticed a pattern. Every time I left those conversations, I felt smaller, second-guessing decisions that had felt sharp an hour earlier. One Sunday night, I wrote a sentence I couldn't ignore. If I have to shrink to stay, I've already left myself. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about not abandoning yourself. The telltale signs. How to recognize past tense relationships. They mock your discipline. Come on, one day off won't kill you, but their one day is every day. They pull you back into old roles. The calm one who absorbs drama, the fun one who drinks past your limit, the agreeable one who never says no. They keep score of your past mistakes and ignore your current standards. After time together, you feel foggy, defensive, or exhausted, even though nothing bad happened. None of this means they're bad people. It means the relationship is calibrated to a version of you that no longer exists. The Stoic frame. Loyalty to your calling, not to comfort. Stoicism isn't cold, it's clear. It asks a simple question: does this relationship move me toward excellence or away from it? Loyalty is noble when it is loyalty to truth, to growth, to virtue. When loyalty becomes a costume you wear to keep the peace, it stops being virtue and starts being avoidance. Keep your heart soft, keep your standards firm. The core distinction: accountability versus anchors. People who hold you accountable. They challenge your blind spots, celebrate your progress, and call you up, not out when you drift. You leave sharper. People who hold you back. They confuse your boundaries with arrogance, your standards with judgment, your focus with betrayal. You leave smaller. Confuse these two and you'll fire the mentors and keep the anchors. The cost of staying, in plain English. Staying in misaligned rooms trains your nervous system to live on defense. You begin narrating every choice, editing every sentence, apologizing with your body-shrunk shoulders, half voice, quick explanations. The price is subtle but massive. You lose the inner permission to become. A life spent translating yourself for the wrong audience is not a life. It's public relations. The freedom of the gap. Yes, there will be a gap after you step back, an awkward, echoey space where old voices fade and new ones haven't arrived. That gap isn't loneliness. It's capacity. It's room for right-fit people, the ones who speak the language of vision, not nostalgia. People who don't need you to shrink so they can feel safe. You won't meet them by clinging to the past. You meet them by holding the line long enough for the right invitations to find you. Checklist. Energy audit. 2 columns. List the 5 people you see most. After each name, write sharper or smaller. Keep the relationships but change the ratios. More time with sharper, less with smaller. 1-sentence boundary. Prepare a calm line you can repeat. I'm not available for that, but here's what I am available for. No essays. Boundaries gain power from brevity. Pre-decide exits. Before events, decide 2 conditions that mean you'll leave time. Alcohol, drama threshold. When they hit, exit kindly and consistently. Redirect ritual. If a conversation turns into gossip or sabotage, let's steer to something useful. Or, not my lane, what's your plan for the week? Celebrate solutions, starve complaints, schedule your builders. Put recurring time with the 2 people who raise your standards. Mentor calls, workouts, study sessions. Don't wait for when we're free. What gets scheduled gets lived. The 30-day distance test. Take a month of low contact with 1 misaligned relationship. Notice your sleep, mood output. Data beats guilt. Upgrade rooms, not egos. Join a class, mastermind, gym block, or community where your goals are normal. You don't need everyone to understand you, just a few who do. Saying less, meaning more. You don't need a courtroom, you need a compass. When you step back, some people will demand explanations. Resist the urge to run a TED Talk on your growth. This is what I'm focusing on right now is enough. If they respect it, they'll adjust. Rewrite the story about aloneness. Being alone is not the opposite of being loved. It's the opposite of being misunderstood. As Carl Jung observed, loneliness comes not from having no people around, but from being unable to share what matters. When you stop translating your values for rooms that don't speak the language, solitude starts to feel like sovereignty. Your voice returns at full volume. Your decisions land without apology. A short script for hard moments. When pressured, I like you. I don't like this pattern. I'm out. When mocked, discipline is how I keep promises to myself. When guilted, care for you doesn't mean betrayal of me. When tempted, old comfort, old cost, I've paid it before. Case study. If Sundays feel heavy, ask, which conversations this week made me question what I already knew was right? Those aren't your enemies, but they are your indicators. Adjust quietly. Text less. Schedule less. Replace 1 coffee with a walk alone or a call with someone who sharpens you. The Stoic tone firm. Not cruel. Boundaries are best delivered like a steady hand, not a swinging sword. No contempt, no lectures, just clarity. You're not punishing anyone, you're protecting alignment. The people meant for the next level will recognize the rhythm. They'll meet you there without needing you to shrink. Rapid self-inquiry. Ask out loud, who am I when I leave this person's presence clearer or confused? If I didn't fear being too much, what standard would I enforce this week? Which single relationship ratio, more or less time, would unlock 20% more peace? A 14-day relationship reset, field tested. Days 1, energy audit, plus 1-sentence boundary. Days 3-5, schedule 2 builder appointments. Decline 1 misaligned invite, kindly. Days 6-7, practice the redirect ritual twice. Document how it changes the tone. Days 8-10, 30-day distance test. Days 11-13, join 1 aligned room, class, group, club, and show up once. Day 14, review. Sleep, mood, output, self-respect. Keep what worked, make it recurring. Addressing the inner skeptic. This feels harsh. Harsh is pretending forever. Clarity is kindness, first to yourself, then to others who deserve your honesty. You can love someone and still refuse to carry a pattern that breaks you. Love is not measured by how much misalignment you can absorb. Closing. Say this softly. I will be loyal to my calling, not to my comfort. I will bless what brought me here and release what keeps me here. Then make one concrete move. Send the text that buys you space, schedule time with a builder, or set a boundary you can say in one breath. That's how you stop shrinking for old rooms and start creating the rooms where your future self can breathe. Segue next part. In the next section, we'll turn this social clarity into momentum by documenting your progress, the receipts that keep you grounded on hard days and undeniable on good ones. Because the fastest way to lock in identity is to collect proof. What if the fastest way to become your next self isn't to wait until you feel ready, but to start acting like the change already happened? Open. Presence before perfection. Readiness is a mirage. We chase it for years. One more course, one more book, one more perfect morning routine, and then I'll begin. But identity doesn't lock in because you plan better. It locks in because you behave differently, consistently, in public view. We stop rehearsing and start living like the upgrade already downloaded. Not loud, not reckless, just visible. A personal turn. The week I stopped hiding. A few years back, I had the classic almost life. Almost launching the project, almost getting consistent at the gym, almost speaking honestly in meetings. I kept waiting for the day I'd feel confident enough to do it right. That day never came. Then I tried something simple for 1 week. I behaved as if the change had already occurred. I said no to a misaligned invite without a paragraph of apology. I posted one idea that reflected my new direction, even though it got fewer likes than the old content. I walked into the gym, did a basic plan, and left no perfect program, no new shoes. By Friday, I wasn't a new person, but I had a new rhythm. The world didn't hand me permission. The Stoic frame. Build. Don't bargain. Stoicism isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about practicing what you claim to value, especially when your knees shake a little. Waiting to be fully understood before you move is a form of self-sabotage. People can misunderstand you, and you can still build. In fact, you will be misunderstood if you're doing anything original. That's not a red flag. That's wind in the sails. The public practice. 5 visible habits. Think of this as identity reps. Done out in the open. No speeches, just signals. Say no in 1 sentence. Thanks for thinking of me. I'm focused on X this month, so I'll pass. You don't owe a TED Talk. Speak clearly, not loudly. In meetings or family conversations, lead with the outcome. Here's what I can do. Here's what I won't. Calm clarity scales better than volume. Post the direction, not the decoration. Share 1 idea, 1 paragraph, 1 photo that reflects who you're becoming. Low polish, high integrity. Show up physically. Gym, studio, class, rehearsal. Presence beats intensity. 10 consistent sessions outrun 1 heroic burst. Start the project in micro-public. A landing page, a pilot episode, a rough draft you send to 3 trusted people. Ship small, ship soon, ship again. These acts aren't about attention. They're about evidence proof to yourself that your identity has roots, not just branches. Why acting as if works without the fluff. Your brain believes what you repeatedly do more than what you occasionally feel. When you act as if the change already happened, you're not pretending you're training. Each visible behavior teaches your nervous system. This is normal now. Confidence follows evidence. Expect misunderstanding and keep moving. Some people will say you changed. They're right. Some will say you're faking it. They're wrong because you're not claiming a finished identity. You're practicing a present one. Let them have their take. Your job is not to manage opinions. Your job is to build outcomes. Measure your day by 2 questions. Did I practice my values out loud? Did I move the ball 1 yard? The 30-day public rhythm. Field. Tested. Here's a simple map to turn theory into traction. Set a repeating daily rhythm. Make it visible enough that someone could watch your calendar and know what you value. Daily 15. 45 minutes. Execution block. Work on your most meaningful task in one focused burst. 1 screen, 1 tab, 1 deliverable. Daily 10 minutes. Direction post. Share a micro update, lesson learned, or behind-the-scenes note. In whatever medium fits: email, community note, LinkedIn post, internal team update. Not to hype, to document. 3x divided by week. Physical presence. Gym divided by class divided by walk. Same days, same time. If you're tired, do half. Keeping the slot matters more than the volume. Weekly 30-60 minutes. Build session. A concrete step toward your project. Sketch an outline, record a draft, send a pitch. Ship something even if it's small. Weekly 15 minutes. Boundary review. Look at your week. Where did you over-explain? Where did you say yes when no would have been clean? Adjust next week's calendar accordingly. Micro scripts for real life. When you decline, I'm focused on priority this month, so I'm not taking on extras. Appreciate the invite. When someone pushes back, I hear you. I'm choosing a different approach. Repeat once, then move. When you feel like a fraud, I'm not finished, I'm in practice. Then do 1 rep, 1 paragraph, 1 set, 1 email sent. When a post flops, audience size is not equal to integrity size. Keep the streak. Post again tomorrow. Case study. The gym and the draft. Let's say your identity target is a person who honors my word. 2 public behaviors, lock it in. You show up at the gym, M divided by W divided by F at 7 a.m. And you send your team a 1-paragraph progress update every Friday by noon. For a month, you keep both promises. No one throws confetti. But on week 4, you realize you haven't argued with yourself about whether you're really committed in days. That's identity doing its quiet work. The habit becomes who you are, addressing the inner skeptic. But what if I mess up in public? You will. That's part of the point. You're not auditioning for flawlessness. You're establishing reliability. People don't trust perfect. They trust consistent. Own the miss, adjust the system, keep the rhythm. The only public failure that matters is disappearing for 6 months and calling it planning, the metric that matters. Track this, not likes or steps. If you stack 20-25 visible value days in a month, your identity will feel different whether the scale, views, or revenue moved yet or not. You'll have receipts, rapid self-inquiry. Ask out loud. If a camera filmed me today, what would it say I value? Which single daily behavior done in public view would make the next 90 days undeniable? Where am I over-explaining instead of executing? Common traps and the upgrade. Trap. Waiting for the perfect brand, logo, or gear. Upgrade. Launch a simple page, plain header, 1 call to action. Trap. Posting for applause. Upgrade. Posting for accountability, what you did, what you learned. What's next? Trap. Confusing boundary with meanness. Upgrade. Calm, kind clarity. This isn't for me. Wishing you well. Trap. 1 heroic day followed by silence. Upgrade. Small, boring daily reps. Rhythm beats spectacle. Why this isn't pretending? Pretending is claiming outcomes you haven't earned. Practicing is performing behaviors that align with who you intend to be today. One is deceit, the other is design. Your behaviors are the scaffolding your future self will stand on. Build them where people can see. Let visibility make you honest. Closing. The quiet contract. Say this softly before you start tomorrow. I won't wait to feel ready. I will do one visible act that matches who I'm becoming. Then do it. A clear no, a 20-minute ship, a simple post, a gym session done even at 60%. That's how roots grow, one public, repeatable action at a time. Segue. What's next? In the next part, we'll lock this new identity in place by collecting proof, the journals, voice notes, and simple metrics that keep you grounded on hard days and undeniable on good ones. Because when you can show yourself the receipts, you don't need permission, you have evidence. What if the difference between I hope I change and I know I'm changing is nothing more than a receipt, not a fancy app, not a viral routine, just a paper trail of tiny promises kept, open. Why documenting makes change real? In the play, here's the problem most of us face. We work hard, then our memory edits the story. The tough mornings blur, the small wins vanish, and the voice of self-doubt gets loud again. Socrates said, "Know thyself." But knowing isn't a mood, it's a practice. It needs records. When you document your journey, journals, voice notes, private videos, even letters to your future self, you turn passing time into evidence. Evidence beats doubt. Evidence beats amnesia. Evidence turns maybe into me, a personal turn. The day I started keeping receipts, a few years back, I was the king of almost. I'd almost build the habit, almost finish the draft, almost keep the boundary. Every time life got noisy, I forgot how far I'd come and defaulted to old patterns. One night I opened the Notes app and typed 3 lines. What I did, what I felt, what I learned. It took 2 minutes. The next morning I added a 30-second voice memo as I walked. Didn't want to go. Went anyway. A week later, I had nothing cinematic, but I had a streak. When a rough Monday hit, I scrolled those entries and realized something simple and powerful. I keep showing up, even when I don't feel like it. That proof quieted the noise more than any motivational speech ever did. The Stoic idea, practical and modern. Documentation isn't self-obsession, it's self-respect. You're creating a mirror that doesn't lie. When your energy dips or a setback hits, you don't have to trust your mood. You can trust your log. Think of it as building a map while you walk. The map helps you notice terrain you'd otherwise miss. Triggers, patterns, the conditions that make good days easier and hard days survivable. What to capture and why it matters. You don't need paragraphs, you need signals. Record the moments that shape identity, not just output. The small wins. Getting up when the alarm rang, showing up to the workout when motivation was zero, leaving the party when your boundary said, enough. The internal shifts. A clearer thought, a calmer reaction, one honest no said without a speech. The inputs that helped. Sunlight walk, protein breakfast. The red flags. Doom scrolling after 10 p.m. Meetings without an outcome. People who leave you smaller. These notes become a pattern detector. Over time, you'll see cause and effect. When I walk in the morning, I decide better all day. Or, when I skip sleep, I argue with my calendar and myself. The toolkit. Choose one, keep it light, microjournal, 3 lines. Did, divided by felt, divided by learned. 2 minutes, bedside or on phone. Voice notes, 30-60 sec. Record while walking. Tone of voice reveals truth, text can hide. Private video check-ins. 1, 3 minutes. Weekly selfie video. What changed? What stayed hard? What's next? Watching last month's you is humbling and energizing. Letter to future. You monthly. 1 page. Lessons, stats that mattered, a promise. Open it in 30 days. Pick one method you can do on your worst day. The best system is the one you'll use when you're tired. Checklist. 5 minutes nightly. No excuses. Timestamp and title. 10 seconds. 9:40 p.m. Kept the boundary. 3 lines. 90 seconds. Did. 20-min walk. Declined. Misaligned invite. Wrote intro paragraph. Felt. Low morning energy. Proud after saying no. Learned. Phone in another room equals easier bedtime. 1 metric. 10 seconds. Steps, pages, sets, minutes of deep work. Pick one. 1 sentence to future. You. 20 seconds. If you feel stuck tomorrow, start with the walk. 1 photo divided by screen. 20 seconds. Optional. The finished page, the gym timer, the clean desk. Done. Lights out. Discipline closes the day. Sleep seals it. Why small is strong? The psychology, plain English. Your brain overweights dramatic moments and undercounts quiet progress. Micrologs fix that bias. They shrink the win condition so success is available daily and stack wins until identity shifts. You stop asking, "Am I that kind of person?" and start saying, "I have 24 receipts this month that say I am." Rapid self-inquiry. Ask and answer out loud. If I read last week's calendar and journal, what would it say I value? Which tiny behavior? What's one pattern I'm tired of reliving? And what cue shows up right before it starts? Make it tangible. Examples that hit. Early alarm. Journal line. Didn't hit snooze. Voice note. Tired but proud. Pattern after 7 days. Better evening choices. Workout on low energy. Photo of the timer after a 15-minute session. Caption. Half volume is greater than 0. Your brain learns consistency over heroics. Boundary kept. Text to yourself. Left at 9:15. Slept at 10:30. Felt clear. Next time the invite comes, you have a script and a precedent. Thought upgrade. Paused before replying. Asked 1 question. Meeting shortened by 20 minutes. You just trained leadership without a seminar. The receipt effect during highs and lows. When results arrive, your log says, "This wasn't luck." It ties outcomes to behaviors, so you repeat what works instead of reinventing your life every Monday. When setbacks hit, your log says, "You've bounced back before." It shows you exactly how walk, water, early bed, 1 deep work block. You don't spiral. You reset. The 30-day proof sprint. Field tested. 0 fluff. Daily. 3-line journal plus 1 metric plus 1 sentence to future you. 3x divided by week. 60-second voice note. During a walk state, what you did when you didn't want to. Weekly. 15 minutes. Review and tag entries with 3 labels. Energy, clarity, output. Circle the top 2 cause behaviors that moved all 3. Day 30. Write a 1-page month in receipts, 5 bullet wins, 3 stubborn obstacles. Common traps in the upgrade. Trap. Over-engineering. 10 apps. Color codes. Upgrade. 1 capture spot you can use half asleep. Trap. Waiting for a meaningful day to log. Upgrade. Log because it was a messy day. That's the day future you will need most. Trap. Treating the log like a confession booth. Upgrade. Treat it like a lab notebook. Curiosity, not judgment. Addressing the skeptic in your head. This is tedious. For 90 seconds? The truth is, it's not tedious, it's confronting. Documentation removes the wiggle room where excuses grow. That's why it works. The point isn't pretty pages. It's portable proof. Proof you can open in the parking lot before a hard conversation. Proof you can read on a read-eye when your willpower is gone. Proof that pulls you forward when motivation won't. A short script for hard days. The truth is, I don't want to do this. The next step is 5 minutes of movement in 1 paragraph. The record says, I've done harder things. Start the timer. I do that. I do that wrecker. And start the timer. I do that. Why this completes the whole journey. We cleaned the space so your mind could speak. We moved the body so your word had weight. We shaped the schedule so your time matched your values. We set boundaries so your circle supported your standards. Now, documenting ties it all together. It's the thread that turns actions into identity and days into a story you can verify. Closing, a calm contract with yourself. Say this quietly tonight. I don't need more motivation. I need more evidence. I will leave a trail my future self can trust. Then write 3 lines before you sleep. Tomorrow, add a 30-second voice note. In a week, you won't just feel different, you'll be holding the receipts. Segue, the last step. In the conclusion of this series, we'll stitch your 90-day proof into a clear identity statement and a simple maintenance rhythm, so the person you've been practicing doesn't fade when the noise returns, but keeps walking forward on purpose. What if the loudest transformation of your life doesn't sound like fireworks but like footsteps? No big announcement, no cinematic montage, just a quiet rhythm of choices that, stacked together, make you unrecognizable to the person you used to be. The truth about change. Noise versus rhythm. Real change isn't a single victory lap. It's 1,000 small, deliberate decisions made when nobody's watching, repeated when the mood is gone, refined when life gets messy. If the past few weeks taught us anything, it's this. Identity doesn't arrive with a speech. It arrives with a schedule, a standard, and a willingness to begin again and again without drama. When doubt shows up, check your receipts. On the days you start questioning everything, is any of this working? Don't argue with your feelings. Open your proof. Read the page where you showed up for the workout you didn't want. Play the 30-second voice note you recorded after saying no without a 5-paragraph apology. Watch last month's short video where your eyes are clearer and your voice is steadier. These aren't vanity metrics. They're receipts. They turn, I hope I'm changing into, I have evidence I'm changing. A quiet personal moment. I keep a simple folder called Returns. It holds nothing fancy screenshots of early drafts, photos of a clean desk at 6:30 a.m., timestamps of short workouts, a note titled, I did it anyway. When my brain tries to sell me the old story, you're not consistent, you're just lucky I opened the folder and remind it who's in charge. The room goes quiet. Not because I yelled louder, but because evidence speaks calmly and wins. The Stoic lens, less drama, more decision. The Stoics never promised a life without friction. They promised a way through it. Clarity over noise. Discipline over impulse. Honesty over performance. That's what these 90 days have really been about. Not manufacturing a new personality, but revealing the one you've been burying under clutter, excuses, and crowded hours. What becoming actually looks like. It looks like fewer tabs and more focus, like shorter to-do lists and clearer outcomes. Like a body that keeps promises, a calendar that reflects values, a room that helps you think, a circle that doesn't require you to shrink, and a simple log that keeps you honest. None of those pieces is flashy. All of them are potent because they compound. The checklist you can keep forever. 1 honest hour you claim most mornings: silence, movement, direction. 1 focused block you actually ship 30 minutes beats 3 chaotic hours. 1 boundary you enforce without a speech: calm, kind, consistent. 1 micro proof logged each night: 3 lines. Did. Divided by felt, divided by learned. 1 weekly review that keeps you aligned: what worked, what didn't, what changes. You don't need more hacks. You need more repetitions of what works when life is ordinary. Questions that keep you true. Ask these out loud when you drift. If a camera followed me today, what would it say I value? Which single behavior, repeated this week, would move everything else forward? Am I waiting to feel ready, or am I willing to be reliable instead? The quiet metric that matters. Count visible value days. Days where you practice your values in front of at least one witness, even if it's just your journal. Stack 20-25 of those in a month, and your identity will shift whether anyone notices or not. The goal isn't applause. The goal is alignment. Why small wins aren't small. A 5-minute walk on a hard day is not trivial. It's a vote cast for the person you said you'd be. A single paragraph drafted when you were tired isn't mediocre. It's momentum secured. A polite no thank you to a misaligned invite isn't antisocial. It's self-respect in plain clothes. The world trains us to chase spectacle. Your future is built on steady, unglamorous competence. Rewriting the story of setbacks. You will miss days. You will stumble. The point is not to collect perfect streaks. It's to master the return. Movement over mood. Action over explanation. When you slip, do the smallest true thing. Fill the bottle, take the walk, close 2 tabs, write 3 sentences, sleep on time. Tomorrow is waiting for proof, not perfection. A simple contract. Say it out loud. I will keep choosing depth over noise. I will measure progress by evidence I can point to. I will protect the habits that protect me. I will be loyal to my calling, not to my comfort. Say it once, then show it until you don't need to say it anymore. The nature of real change. In the end, transformation is less about addition and more about subtraction. Less numbing, fewer excuses, fewer open loops. What remains is a clearer you, someone who can see themselves honestly, move through the day with purpose, and make choices that match what they believe. That's not loud, it's steady. It's not rushed. It's repeatable. And it's powerful in a way noise can't replicate. If you're still becoming, you're on time. Maybe you don't feel finished. Good. That feeling isn't failure. It's faithfulness. Becoming is a moving verb. If your days look a little quieter and your choices a little cleaner, you are not stuck. You're in rhythm. Keep the rhythm. Increase the volume only when it means increasing the integrity. A final image to carry forward. Picture a path paved with small stones. Each stone is a moment you honored your word. The early wake-up, the workout done at 60%, the 30 focused minutes, the boundary kept, the journal line, the clear no, the quiet yes. On any single day, one stone looks like nothing. But walk a month and you can feel the road under your feet. Walk a year and you can look back and see the distance. That's transformation. A road you laid one humble stone at a time. Call to action. Keep it simple. Keep it true. Tonight, write your 3 lines. Tomorrow morning, claim your hour. Sometime before lunch, ship one 30-minute block. That's it. When doubt whispers, open your receipts. When noise rises, return to the rhythm. When you're tempted to make it complicated, make it smaller instead, closing the quiet blessing. Go forward, not louder, but deeper. Not to prove, but to live. You don't need a new identity statement to finish this. Your days are already saying it for you. And if you're still becoming, you're right on time.